I might know what the tools are. I might understand, what is going to engage my people, what stories are really going to resonate with them and help them to make that change and be engaged in that change. But if I don't know how to apply the tools and stories, if I don't know how to tell the stories and apply those stories to the given situation, then it will never come to fruition. Hi, and welcome to Helping You Perform. I'm your host, Paul Teasdale. Over a career working with high-performing teams from across the globe, including 7 years working with Formula One team McLaren, I've learned a lot about what it takes to drive results. In this weekly podcast series, I'm going to be bringing you tips, tricks and insights from the world of Formula One that you can apply for your organisation for your own high performance. Enjoy. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Helping You Perform, where I bring those tips, tricks, insights and stories from Formula One and other high-performing teams to help you accelerate your own performance. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode 63, where I talked about that second ingredient in the 3-ingredient recipe for high performance. So going back to the episode 61 and what that recipe is, you want the tools and frameworks and knowledge of those tools and frameworks that are right for your situation. You want the stories to be able to engage people in that change and throughout that change. And the third element that I'm going to be talking about today, that third ingredient, is knowing how to apply those tools and techniques and stories and when to apply them. So this is vital if you think about that sort of Venn diagram of tools and techniques, stories, and application of those elements, then if you've got knowledge of what the right tools and frameworks are for your given problems, you've got great stories that are going to engage people, but actually when it comes to applying those tools and frameworks, all you know is that's the tool and framework, that's the 5 whys, that's the Ishikawa diagram, it's the rapid performance framework. I know what it is, but actually how do I make it happen? What are the steps that I do that actually get people engaged in that process and get me the results that I want? So this is the role of a facilitator. This is the role of somebody or a practitioner who is there to apply the tools to help get the answers out of your team. And much like the tools element that I talked about a couple of episodes ago, the great news in this way is that you don't need everybody in your organization to know how to apply them. You just need 1 or 2 or access to people who know how to apply those tools and techniques. So you've got the right tools and frameworks. We're taking that as a given for now. We've got some great stories, but if you can bring somebody in who's able to take a team through the process of applying those right tools and frameworks to the problems that you've got, they're able to tease out those answers in such a way that engages everybody in that process, gets them to give you the answers, and to build up those answers over time, because most of these frameworks and tools aren't about, I'm going to start now and I'm going to jump to the result. I'm going to jump to the answer at the end. You've got a process to follow. And that's the job of a facilitator or a practitioner, is to help know, how do I apply that? How do I go through the steps? So if I look at the rapid performance framework, for instance, I talk about understanding the results that you're trying to drive as step 1, then understanding the actions, and then the people, the insights, and the data. Great. I know what the tool and I know what the framework is. I might even have some stories associated with each one of those 5 elements as well. But actually, when it comes to the results, how do I get those answers out of people? How do I, do I just guess at what the results are? Do I take one person's input? If I say, what's the result we're trying to drive, and I ask one person and it's the finance lead, they're going to say profit, or revenue, or something along those lines that's going to be appropriate to them. But actually, a good facilitator and somebody who knows how to apply that model and that framework will engage all sorts of other people. And what else? And what are the guidelines for that you have to follow as well? What are the rules and regulations that sort of put the barriers, the sort of gates in your bowling alley, the ones that pop up and for your kids and stop the ball from going down the gullies? What are those guide rails that you need to play within? And then maybe someone who can ask the right questions as to what would it take to change some of those guide rails, to move them out a little bit, or to help them work for us in a better way. So that's the job of a facilitator and a practitioner. Someone who can know what those tools and frameworks are and take the steps to engage people in coming up with what the answers are for that tool and framework. Ultimately, to get you from where you are now to some action, to answer, or next step that says, this is what we're going to do from here that's going to actually get us that high performance that we're after. And so, again, just think about those three elements together. I might know what the tools are. I might understand, what is going to engage my people, what stories are really going to resonate with them and help them to make that change and be engaged in that change. But if I don't know how to apply the tools and stories, if I don't know how to tell the stories and apply those stories to the given situation, then it will never come to fruition. So knowing how to apply tools and techniques is a really vital skill in those three triumvirates and those three ingredients in the recipe of high performance. And if you haven't got it, it's going to really challenge you to get the right performance, and you're going to leave some performance on the table. But if you've got those three elements together, you're unstoppable. So, as always, if you want to have a chat with me, you want to think about what are the right tools and techniques, what are some of the stories and the story techniques that I can help to apply to my given situation, how do I go about applying some of these tools and techniques, then speak to me, contact me through paulteasdale.co.uk, DM me through LinkedIn, whatever it might be. Give me a nudge and, well, let's have a chat. We'll see how I can help. If I'm the right person to help, can I point you in the right direction of somebody else? Can I show you some resources that are going to help you? But ultimately, if we get these three things together, I'm so passionate about this, because if you get the three things right, you're on the road to high performance straight away. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Helping You Perform podcast. If you found value in this episode, please take a moment to like, share, or review the podcast. You can reach out to me at any time, either through LinkedIn or through my website at www.paulteasdale.co.uk. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode.